Well, today's episode is all about the Japanese wrestling scene. So, the first two reviews we're going to be doing are, in fact, from the latest ChocoPro shows, number 489 and 490. And there are a bunch of good, fun matches to enjoy, so we're going to be going through all of it. And then finally, as you know, we are stepping into day 3 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League. So, we're going to focus on A block matches only. Now, keep in mind, folks, we already began on the first 2 days of the opening rounds of the World Tag League. So, we're going to see how much advance we can get on this one. If there are those who advance after receiving their first 2 points, or those who, in fact, are still at the bottom, but will they get their first 2 points? Well, we'll see how things will go. And also, there are no news updates for today. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everybody, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information has been unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. Let's get cracking. So, let's begin with ChocoPro number 489. Okay, ChocoPro number 489. Now, this is their latest show that happened, of course, on the 15th of November in Ichigai Square. We had Balin Aki, of course, opening up the show, greeting the fans, and letting the fans know that we had, of course, visitors coming from their friends, all the way from Thailand, of course, the guys from Set Up, of course, and I will tell you guys who those guys are going to be. And, of course, we had another special guest that they had mentioned, and I'll get to him soon. Now, our first match, we have singles action. We have Hiroya Yawada taking on Hagen Ishino, my bad. Hagen Ishino taking on Jonathan Johnson. Many of you may not know who he is. He is one of the guys from the Thailand promotion Set Up. So yes, he made the trip all the way from Thailand to be part of this. Now keep in mind, folks, these two promotions, both ChocoPro and Set Up, do have a strong relationship due to their history. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me give you guys a big description about it. ChocoPro originally was known as Gato Move, and they started out in Thailand when Emi Sakura decided to start a new promotion after leaving Ice Ribbon. And of course, Gato Move made the jump back to Japan and then later rebrand about a year ago, and now they go by ChocoPro. So you can tell the history why it goes like that. But of course, many people would say that Hagen Ishino, since he is, of course, the hometown boy involved, he probably would win. I mean, he is a veteran in the wrestling game, and he's capable of. Not to mention, Jonathan Jones is a champion. I don't know which title he has, but yes, that says it up. But in the end, it was Hagen that walked away with the win when he applied a crucifix, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he picked up the win. Our next match, we have Ishikawa teaming up with, of course, one of Setup top guys, Shivam. So yes, many of you guys know this. Shivam is one of their top guys in Setup, and it's great to see him. And of course, he's always happy to show up in ChocoPro. And they take on Tokiko Kirihara, and of course, everyone's favorite dad, Dan the Dad. Yep, if you guys know who he is, he's been well recognized here in the States, mostly in independence. Made the trip all the way from the U.S. to Japan, and it's not his first time being in a course in ChocoPro. Many people probably thinks of him that the way he is different. Well, he is a very unique wrestler, and of course, it was going to be a fun match. Not going to lie about that. But of course, Shivam, as I mentioned before, he is their top guy. He is the guy who would definitely try to put out the hurt on anybody due to the fact that he is the top guy. But in the end, it was Chiko Shikawa that was able to pick up the win when she pinned Tokiko, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now our main event, we have a trios action match. We have Hiroya Yawada, Sayaka Obihiro, and Jake DeLeon, another guy from Setup, making his presence known too. They take on Kaho Hiromi and, of course, the Best Bros, Mei Shruga and Balinaki. Now, of course, one thing I like about this trio group, many of you know I mentioned this, that Kaho is similar to Mei. The only thing is, Mei is a bit more, acting like she's, the bad guy in some ways. But Kaho, well, he makes both Kaho and Mei, you have double trouble right from there, and that's always been one of the things about them that makes them unique. But of course, you would definitely think that somehow, now it's not the first time that Kaho teams up with the Best Bros. There have been wins here and there between them, but of course, the experienced wrestlers that are very more cohesion are most likely going to pick up the win. And of course, it was the Best Bros, most specifically Mei, when they applied, of course, the Dolphin Press on Hiroya Iwata, but it was Mei that picked up the win by the pinfall, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, our Jonkin tournament, well, I wasn't too sure where this is going to go, but it ended up with a very interesting finals. It ended with Mei Shruga versus Shivam, and I cannot recall if Shivam has ever won it, but he actually beat Mei Shruga and won the chocolate. And not to mention, he brought his daughter along and he gave it to her, I believe. And I thought it was kind of sweet that he gave that to her, and I think it's fun. So, I enjoyed this one. So, we are not done with ChocoPro, so let's move on with the next one, which is, of course, 490. Okay, so we continue with more with ChocoPro. This is number 490. It happened on the 23rd of November, this past weekend. Opening up the show was Mei Shruga. Note here, she was not in her wrestling gear. She was in plain clothes, in case anybody asks. That's something I was unable to undetermine, but I'm going to take a small, uneducated guess that maybe she wanted to take a little break and give some of the other stars a chance. So it's great that she participated, but not in the matches. So I'm going to say maybe she might have participated as the commentator and camera person. So that's pretty much what I can think of. Now, our first match, we have Kaho Hiromi taking on Hiroya Yawada. Now, keep in mind, folks, these two ladies are in fact rookies, and they have a bit of a difference of experience. I mean, Kaho is still young. I mean, she's like, what, elementary, middle school? Not sure. But Hiroya, well, we know she has picked up a bit of experience. She hasn't yet to pick up her big win. But to me, looking at this match, I would say it was probably a simple one. But however, when it comes to Kaho, she's a bit of a childish girl. Well, I mean, a very cute one where she's like, oh, cute and wants to play around. You know, that sort of thing. Not being a pedophile here. But that's the thing about her. She is playing the cute little girl who just wants to have a little bit of fun and try to get away with it. Not like Mei Shruga, her big sister, of course. But I had a feeling that this match was definitely what's going to go with Hiroi because she pinned her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3 is over. However, we will see Hiroi one day pick up her biggest win just yet. And the same thing I would consider with Kaho when she reached the perfect timing. So we'll just wait and see what these two ladies would do down in the future. Now, our next match, we have Chika Shikawa teaming up with Jonathan Johnson. They take on Shota Kawakami and, of course, Valiant Aki. Now, obviously, you know who Jonathan Johnson is. He is from Set Up, of course. Shota Kawakami, many of you may have seen him in Gambare Pro if you haven't seen it yet. But yes, I wasn't too sure exactly where this is going to be. But I mean, she is a strong competitor. She knows exactly what she's doing. And that plays out pretty well. But in the end, it was Balinaki that picked up the win by pinfall. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, se acabó. Now, our next one is our main event, is a women's trios match. We have Soy, Irikane, and of course Miya Yotsuba. Now, of course, many of you know that Miya and Soy are in fact a good cohesion, but having a third person in the mix, that's something where you have to learn how to adapt. But they're facing against a team that has a far more better experience than them. We have Tokiko Kirihara versus Sayaka Obihiro, or as we call her, Obi. And then there's, of course, Sayaka, one half of our current Asian Dream Tag Team Champions. So, of course, as I mentioned, there's two Sayakas in the same match, same team. So I'll be calling Sayaka Obihiro Obi in case anybody does not mix the person. So, of course, we all know the strengths and weaknesses. I mean, Soy is a very much of a powerhouse and, of course, very capable. Irikani, well, she has a unique, unorthodox way. Miya, well, we have seen her how much she has grown, but she has yet to pick up her biggest win just yet. But she is capable of picking up some good, impressive performance. But they're facing Tokiko, who is, of course, a striker, and she knows exactly how to put you through a submission. Then we have, of course, Sayaka Obihiro, a much better veteran than all of them, maybe 13 years or so. And then there's Sayaka, who also in the same generation as Tokiko. Well, she in fact has grown a lot, so you can tell by the difference. But in the end, it was Sayaka who picked up the win by the Northern Lights suplex onto, who was it? Onto Kane, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now, for our Jonkin tournament, well, the way this ended, our finalist was none other than Valiant Aki and Sayaka. Now, these two guys have, of course, won the Jonkin tournament before, but the real question, who was going to walk out? Well, it was Valiant Aki when he did Rock, while, of course, Sayaka did Scissors. So you probably can guess that's how it rolls. So I have to say it was a pretty good show. We do know we have upcoming events from ChocoPro. Hopefully we get to see those as soon as possible. Now, if you haven't seen any of the latest ChocoPro shows, go on YouTube, check it out. So right now, let's move on with our last and final review, news updates. Okay, as you know, we are now in day 3 of New Japan's World Tag League. Now, day 1, we only went on to the A block matches, and day 2, we have B block. So right now, we're going back to A block again for this particular day, and it happened at Machida Gymnasium, which is in Tokyo, in case anybody asks. And this is their most recent event that took place. Now, as we start with the A block, of course, the entire thing, our first opening match for that, we have the House of Losers, or as we know them, the House of Torture, Chase Owens and Yujiro Takahashi taking on two-time Tag League winners, of course, Bushiman, and of course, multi-time Tag Team Champions Bishiman. So, of course, we all know that they have the much better experience. But, however, when it comes to these losers, of course, the House of Losers, they tend to cheat their way through by using unnecessary tactics, using weapons, having their compadres helping them out. You would think that would have been the X factor to help that get them the win, but nope. Unfortunately, Chase Owens ended up on the wrong side of Shoto, and just like that, blammo, and pinned by Hiroki Goto. 1, 2, 3, over. So, Bishiman, as you all know, may not have won their first day. They at least get their first 2 points. So that leaves up for them to 1 win and 1 loss. As for, of course, these losers, the House of Losers, well, they ended up only in 0, and I hope they stay like that. Now, our next match, as you probably know, these guys already won their first match in their and they won, and they both have 2 points. But the real question is, who's going to be advancing on this one? So, as we speak, we have Satoshi Kojima and Taichi, formerly known as Kojima-gun. Many of you may know that this is the team that was formed before it became known as Suzuki-gun. And they take on, of course, Bolton Oleg and Toru, former never openweight 6-man tag team champions, along with Tanahashi. But now we're going to see how these guys are working together as a tag team. But however, I would say they would do fine, since they are, of course, a never openweight 6-man tag team. And that plays out pretty well. But it's been a while since Satoshi Kojima and Taichi have teamed up, but nonetheless, they did pretty good on day 1. But the real question is, can they surpass this one? Well, that's a good question. But the one thing you need to be more careful is, Yano, when you have, oh my god, my monitor went out. Well, it didn't happen, but it was in fact Bolton Oleg that picked up the win when he applied Kamikaze. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it's over. So basically, of course, Bolton Oleg and Toru, they currently have 4 points. Now, on a note here, they are currently undefeated as we speak. Now, as for Satoshi Kojima and Taichi, well, they have only 2 points. So that means they only got 1 win and 1 loss. So we'll see how things will progress. But we will stay close to, of course, keep an eye on how Bolton Oleg and Toru will progress. As I mentioned, they are undefeated as we speak. Now, our next match, we have the War Dragons, Drilla Maloney and Shingo Takagi, taking on Shuji Ishikawa and El Desperado. Now, keep in mind, War Dragons did win their first match, but however, when it comes to Ishikawa and Despi, they haven't picked it up. But the real question is, many of you might have thought, in some capacity, because we have seen how Maloney and Takagi have been, of course, very well, despite the fact they have different similarities between them. You know what I mean? So I thought many people might have thought the War Dragons would have been the most obvious choice to win this match, but no, it was, of course, Ishikawa that picked up the win when he pinned Maloney, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, they picked up their first win. Now, our main event, this one I knew this is going to be messy because it's the other members of the House of Losers. We're specifically talking about Don Fale, or should I say Don Fatty, versus Evil, Evil taking on Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji. Now, it's no secret because Gabe Kidd, as you know, had dealt with the House of Torture, not to mention Evil, and not to mention Yota Tsuji had dealt with Evil before. And this is where, of course, Gabe Kidd and Yota Tsuji, even though they have fought individually, this is where they have to put on their A game, knowing too well that Evil will send his dirty tactics to do their dirty tricks. That's always been House of Losers' MO. And that's something that Gabe Kidd cannot afford. Neither would Yota Tsuji. But man, the way they took Fale out was beautifully done. Tsuji applied the Gene Blaster while Gabe Kidd applied, of course, a Lariat. And just like that, 1, 2, 3 on Fale, pinned by Kidd. It was over and they got their 2 points, leaving, of course, the losers with just 2 points. So that means they're both 1-on-1. So I have to say, I want to make a note here. As we're seeing, of course, the cohesion between the guys, between the unaffiliated and the War Dogs, it's going to be interesting. So we're going to see how things will progress from that side. But I think we also need to make a mental note that we have to keep an eye on the House of Losers, because one way or the other, these guys would try to cheat their way through. That's something we need to do. But keep in mind, on a note, Bolton Oleg and Toru are currently undefeated. So things could change, but nonetheless, that's how things is going to be. So right now we are done. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably can guess, we continue with week 2 of Gold Rush, the collaboration with NXT, AAA, Evolve, and TNA. So we'll see how things will go on this one. I think we have titles taking place on this one as well. So we'll see how things will go from there. And of course, we do have more with New Japan, continuing with day 4 of the World Tag League. So apparently, we probably will have just the B block matches only. So we'll see how it is, because there'll be certain times they'll have both blocks in the same day. So we'll keep my fingers on that. If there's anything else, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, we'll leave things as it is. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.